In midweek and midday trade, the major U.S. stock averages are clinging to the flat line. We are seeing transportations as well as retail sectors down on the session. So we are joined by Tim Anderson of TJM Investments, and he'll weigh in on today's market action. Tim, great to have you here today.
It's nice to talk to you.
Well, since we've last spoken, plenty has happened. Donald Trump's press conference happened, and we had earnings, economic data, and we have the inauguration this week. So given what's happened in the FX markets as well as bond yield markets, has your position changed overall?
Well, I'll just throw one other item in there that I think was very big yesterday. Was British Prime Minister May's speech, because that had probably as big of an impact on the financial stocks yesterday as the Trump comment on the dollar. But no, I think that basically we're still in the same mode that we were in a little over a week ago. We're kind of winding down on the first phase of the Trump trade, if you want to call it that. And there's some very vicious, vibrant churning or rotation going on in the market. From time to time, we're seeing, and there's, investors, I think, are waiting for more detail on the tax plan, the infrastructure spending plan, to confirm that the cabinet nominees are going to get approved, and then also to see which parts of the regulatory environment that's maybe been holding the business investment back gets lifted first, and what the comments are from the business community on that.
We're seeing several retail stocks down on the session, in particular Target today.
Sure.
But we're seeing interesting trading action in technology, and given that Amazon is often brought up as the main competitor for brick and mortar retail stores, where do you see technology going?
Well, I think Select Technology seems to have the potential to still do a lot better. There's been some talk of, productivity lagging a little bit. What economists would really like to see for another leg in GDP, but maybe if we get some clarity from going forward. The chip space was very strong in the last quarter, and then some of the other cell phone derivative companies like Qualcomm and some of the other mobile-driven companies have been perking up quite a bit. But, look, NVIDIA had over a 200% move last year. Some consolidation is certainly, not unreasonable. But tech is going to be selective, but there's still, I think, a lot of growth potential there. Maybe not in the same names that we saw the most growth potential the last 2 or 3 years.
Well, Tim, very quickly before I let you go, I do want to get your take on the broader market, in particular what the comments we've been hearing from Davos. But in addition, we have Fed comments today, tomorrow, and Janet Yellen will be speaking. So what comments are you watching for as we close out the holiday short week?
Well, let's keep in mind that I think the Fed was the whole ballgame for the market the last 5 or 6 years. I don't think the Fed is going to be get the total focus of the market that it did, because you're going to have very active fiscal policy in the market. Market's not going to have to be totally dependent on monetary policy from the Fed. Now, that being said, we still want to listen to what they're saying, and there still is the potential for some impact, particularly if they start to deviate away from the market expectations of 2 to 3 hikes during this year. Keep in mind that a little over a year ago, they were talking 4 hikes, potential of 4 hikes for 2016. We got 1. Now they're talking likelihood of 3 for this coming year. That could obviously change. It's going to depend a lot on whether or not the economy starts to heat up and whether or not you start to get more aggressive forward guidance from earnings, not necessarily this quarter, but maybe the next quarter earnings reports will have some clarity on the Trump fiscal proposals, and you'll likely get then some comments from the corporate world about that.
Okay, Tim, well, we covered a lot of ground today, so thank you so much for insight and analysis, and hope to speak to you very soon. Thank you.
It was great talking to you.